Girl, I can't believe y'all walk 5 miles. I'm trying to how do I put this? I'm trying to discipline myself, y'all, to get back into this thing. Ever since they closed the
The
gym,
gym. Hmm.
it's just been an issue. Just so that you know, we have transitioned in, so we are actually. I'm going to be sharing this from my personal page. So if you give me a minute to get it all set up,
Sure.
and I heard the little bell. So I think my sister, Taisha, there she is. Hey, can you hear? Are you able to hear us, sis?
I think you're on mute, Taisha.
Let's get her all situated with her technological stuff. So while she's getting that done, I'm going to share also on my personal page, and then I'll tag you ladies in. So we cannot hear you. We need you to give permission for your audio. Tia, can you talk her through that?
Okay, so on your bottom left-hand side, there should be a thing that says dial in via internet or phone. Click the internet one, and it should go ahead and pop you up so where you're able to talk back and forth with us. At least that's how it worked for me. I was like, I am not tech savvy, but I think I figured that one out. It took me a minute.
Real good. I'm super good. All right, let me tag you queens in here real quick. Felicia, tag, Taisha. Yeah, yeah, tagging y'all in there. I already see Church. He a stalker. Oh my God, he just so like smitten by his wife.
See? And I'm hoping Jay just forgot all about it because he's at the shop right now. So
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
right, he can see what I'm gonna say all about him, later. So I'm talking all about you today.
So I just tagged you ladies in. Um, so you are good to go as far as sharing. And now let me get my sister set up. Taisha, are you able to hear us? Okay, so first let's have you come off mute, and you look lovely, just stunning. All of y'all do, by the way. Like I feel like I need to go and step up my game.
Ah. And I'm looking at them earrings over there.
No. On your screen somewhere, I'm not quite sure what your dynamics look like. On the bottom left-hand corner of my screen, I see a button that is a microphone, and when I click it, it gives me the opportunity to come off mute. Let me see. I'm invited.
Hey, there we go.
So you're off mute, but we still can't hear you. So don't come back on mute. Now I need you to go to that same microphone and the little arrow next to it, click it. And what you want to do is you want to give permission to switch your audio on. And I don't want you to be nervous or anxious about it at all. I promise you, I have to do live trainings on how to use Zoom. So I guarantee you, I do this all day, every day. It is okay. So here's the other thing that we can do. Let me have you log out and then come back in. And it's going to prompt you to get permission for your audio. Look for that and make sure that you do. Okay? We'll see you back in a second. So while my sister is getting her stuff set up, I want to allow you guys the opportunity to introduce yourself. So I'll introduce me first. I think I just feel like everybody already know me and is so used to my voice. My name is Toni McNeil. I'm the founder of, or I don't know what you want to call it, of the anti-Black conversation space. Yes, it's always exciting when I say it. Me and a few a few community organizers, were kind of brainstorming and talking about some of the work that needed to be done and how we needed to address anti-Blackness in the communities, and just kind of took it and ran from there. And so I pull on them every now and again in order to get wisdom and insight as a core team. But welcome to Anti-Black Conversations. The whole essence of Anti-Black Conversations is to create space for individuals who are people of color, particularly Black men and women or Black individuals. And what we do is we dive into real intense dialogue regarding the stereotypes, the image that is in our mind that has been tainted with white supremacy and racism as a people. And so I always give the analogy of if you're wearing a prescription of glasses that don't suit you, when you see, everything looks, everything is perceived through the lenses of those glasses. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we actually are impacted and perceive ourselves through the lens of anti-Black.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. It was something with my computer. It was still connected to, normally I have a headset device in, so it was picking that up, so I had to turn that off.
Okay.
Hey now.
So been excited. Oh my God, y'all don't even know. So I am authentically, genuinely, like through the roof, over the moon excited to be sharing space with you, Queens, for real. Each one of you that is in this space, I have had the opportunity to either see you shine in the area of your king, or your king shine in the area of you. And so you have been selected intentionally and not accidentally, because I see you, because others see you. So today we're talking about anti-Blackness when it comes to the significance of a Black man. We're talking about how white supremacy has branded the narrative of a Black man, the stigma that Black man has to walk under, the weight of oppression that he has to deal with in a system and a society that does not honor him. The man is not honored. Now, y'all, anybody stop me if I'm wrong. Do you feel like, is your husband honored, Taisha, as a Black man in this society?
No, definitely. I feel like by me and his family and close friends, yes, but in society as a whole, definitely not. Not enough, at least.
Right.
So let me do this. Let's go around really quick. Oh, go ahead, Tia. What were you going to say?
Oh, I feel like it's almost like we have to guard them against our society or use it as a buffer or whatnot, because they don't honor or lift up the person that he is just because of who he is. So I feel like we automatically take that role. Yeah, just to go ahead and try to go ahead and take care of them the best that we can, because he looks at them in a particular way before they even open their mouth or do anything.
Wow. So you have to do extra work to honor him. You have to do, when we say him, so that everybody knows, automatically know that him is the Black man.
Yeah.
When we say him, they may be individually referencing and speaking to their Black man from their personal experiences. However, their Black men are reflective of the Black man, and especially the Black man on the block. I particularly pulled y'all in because these are the brothers that are from the block. These are the brothers that are from the ground, from the hood, from the concrete, that have held it down in their communities and have influence in the spaces and the spheres that they walk in and amongst. So let's go around real quick and introduce ourselves. Well, why don't we start with you?
I am Wu Cherry. September 7th, Stephen and I will be celebrating 13 years of marriage. We have, thank you. 7 funny looking kids, 1 daughter, 6 boys. We have 1 8-year-old granddaughter and 2 grandbabies on the way. So we are We are being fruitful and multiplying.
Oh my God. You said 7, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Girl.
Uh-huh.
And so 7, are you the mother of 7, or is this 7 as a blended family?
This is a blended family, the most beautiful blended family.
Yes.
Yes, I birthed 3. I had one prior to, the relationship with Stephen, and he had 4. And so, boy, yeah, it's real. And we have 2 together, but we have 7.
And I give you queen status and props and all that, because emotionally unintelligent individuals, I use my words very, very intentionally. That means that you're still growing up a little bit. Sometimes they don't know how to say we. We have sex skills. And so when that king does come into that space, and he comes in with what society calls baggage, we need to also then, just acknowledge the fact that there are some things that we have to do, in order to bring order, in order to bring, unity in the package, and that way you don't just throw it all out. So congratulations on your upcoming anniversary.
Thank you.
The panel. Let me tap it over to Taisha. Am I saying your name right, sis? Because your husband sent a spell thing.
Of course he did. Yes, you are. It's Taisha, but everybody calls me Ty. Yeah, that's a lot easier. So me and Joe, we've been dating for 12 years. We've been married for 6 years. So basically we kind of have grown up together. When we met, we were 22, 23 years old. Now we have 2 beautiful girls, one 8-year-old, and our baby is 4. She's almost 5, and that's it for us. No more kids.
No more?
No mas.
All right. And so how does that play out? Because that means that you've known this man throughout all his formative years. So you hung in there.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, both of us on both of our parts, we basically did a lot of growing up together. But in generally speaking, it seems that men do mature a little bit slower than women do. So I probably was more ready on a lot of things than he was. And so, like you said, I felt like it was worth it. I saw the potential in him and accepted him for who he was at the time as well. And now 12 years later, here we are.
Yes, remind me to come back to that. You felt like he was worth it. I need to
Right.
come back to that, because all of y'all nodding your head. There's significance in that. Tia, introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Tia. Jay and I have been married for, well, it'll be 7 years on the 24th of September. Yay, September marriage. We have 7 kids now, and yeah, some before we got married, some after, like I said, blended family. I dare you to try to pick who goes with who, because they all my babies. We like to keep it a mystery when people are asking. So how many do you think? Because they're all mine. Yeah, but I guess that's it. Big mega family.
Yeah, y'all like, that's the only thing that I can imagine when I see y'all. I'm like, oh my God, especially you and Woo. We all be on outings on the beach. I'm like, who are all these people? I was like, wait, what the world? Where's all these kids coming from? You guys do outings and all of that different stuff. And so that's amazing. So first, I just want to honor you guys. Thank you once again for being a part of us. We're going to dive in. We're going to dive in, right? What's the weight that a Black man has to carry? What's the weight? What's the burden? What makes his burden significant than any other man? Anybody?
I think the weight that they have to carry is always having a persona as being strong. kind of unemotionally attached, just putting on that armor and just being strong, not able to be vulnerable, not being able to show their emotions. And then just always being judged, like Tia said earlier, before they even open up their mouth. Everyone has like this preconceived notion of who they are or who they think that they are. And so they have to always work a little harder to just even prove themselves, to just be at the same level as someone else, as maybe a white man, a Mexican man, whoever it may be. So they're working from here, and they have to even become equal, they have to do double the work. So it's just that armor, it's just the weight not being equals, and just always having to be strong. And when they show emotion, people look at them as being weak. And so a lot of men, they don't show emotion or don't even know how to. They look at it as a sign of weakness, and it's not.
Right, and I think that goes for all of the range of emotions as well. So even when they are upset, they have to guard that. Like they can't show you or show the world that they're upset, because then they're just a angry Black man, instead of, no, there was a reason for the anger or whatever the frustration is, but people don't get that message. All they see is another angry Black man, so it's automatically wrong, or so.
Yeah. From the perspective that I see with my husband, it's his past. Like I said, real briefly, 4 children prior to us. That was by 4 different women. So there you have that player type of background, and the old school hustler. So there's the connection to the streets. And I have over the years watched him try to die to that, die to the the streets, die to the connection with being, oh, that's Stephen Cherry. It's heavy. I don't feel like as much because he is maturing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But for years, I could see almost the click, 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 the mental gymnastics going on with him, with holding up this ego and holding up this old resume that he had created in his past.
Mm-hmm. Tony, you're on mute. Oh, there we go.
I just had to come off from mute. So as you guys are describing that, and all of these things are so real and so relevant, how do you feel white supremacy in the history, from slavery and Jim Crow, prison industrial complex, 3 strikes, you're out, how do you guys see all of this stuff? The war on drugs, the war on crime. How do you guys see that playing into this armor, this burden, and the lifestyle that our Black men have had to walk in? Like, what's significant about that?
It's all directly linked. When I think about what I do know about my husband's family and generation, his father died when he was 10 months old. His stepfather raised him, but he did like a 9-10 year, in the feds. And so when I think about the way society has set up Black men, this one man has had 2 examples of death or prison. And so it's a setup for failure. And I'm seeing it, I'm just thinking about Stephen and like, wow, the 2 men, the father figures in his life, both went 2 separate ways. My father-in-law is home now and is doing amazing, but those were his examples.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tash, sorry.
I think that it's all connected as well, because a lot of young men and boys, they don't have those good examples. And I also think that the examples that they do have, they're really surviving. They're not living to thrive. They're trying to survive. And when you're trying to survive, it's by any means necessary. And so that's why a lot of people end up dead, in jail, in the streets, because they're doing what they have to do or what they feel like they have to do, and they haven't been shown another way. So I definitely think that it's, you know, all linked together.
Yeah, you were going to say something?
Oh yeah, you guys absolutely agreeing with both of you ladies. I was come to think about it when my husband as well, his father, uncles, whatnot, they did time or went to the military, basically. So he was raised by them, but also in and out of their lives or whatnot for one reason or another. So it is hard to find role models that were actually in the home versus being out doing what they think they need to do in order to put food on the table, or like elsewhere. Like I said, in Jay's situation, it was service or whatnot, which was also something, again, to put food on the table, something alternative than jail or death or whatnot, but still took them out of the house one way or the other.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So and I've got so many questions that keep coming to my mind, and I'm trying to like keep everything narrowed down and all of that. How safe is your significant other when they walk out the door from your house?
I feel like not safe at all. I try not to be like to hound my husband, like, where are you? Where are you going? But he can tell you, like, if you tell me that you're going somewhere for an hour, it's not that I don't trust you. I'm scared for you. So I expect you to text me, to call me, because I want to make sure that you're safe. And it's a shame that, you know, we have to feel that way. And I always tell them all the time, like, don't just leave this house and not tell me where you're going. I need to know if I'm hearing a news story, breaking news, if you were there, what's going on. This is always going on in my mind. When he's out with his friends and it's a group of young Black men together, like, I'm scared for that, because they're stereotyped and things can go from 0 to 100 quick. You see somebody can just be minding their business and get pulled over in the car. Next thing you know, they're dead. So I'm always worried on that end. So I'm always like, you know, just shoot me a text, call me, let me know that you're okay. And like I said, especially when he's in a group.
So this isn't just your typical, insecure woman thing here.
No, not at all.
That you get. And so
Yes.
I'm for real, I'm digging in that. I am. I'm gonna dig in that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna dig in some stuff, encounter some stuff. So this isn't you just like, I'm worried that he out there kicking it with another female. You guys are solid in who it is that you with and what you got.
Right.
Right. I
Right.
don't know whether or not he's coming home because of the way the society is set up to target, murder, and kill a Black man.
Exactly.
Will, you were gonna say something, sis?
Yeah, I feel like, and I know this is about, I mean, you said across the board Black men. So when I talk to you about those 6 Black boys of ours, that I feel that same for Stephen, but because he's, matured, it's not as much of where he's going to be and who he's going to be with. I feel that for my sons, most definitely, because they're still growing, they're still learning, they still want to have fun, they still want to, do what they deem is fun, and that's probably being with the wrong crowd or just because they're young and they're Black. So for me, most definitely, the boys going out, it's, I'm the drill with the texting, I'm the call, I will FaceTime you to check in, because there's that thing, with your babies. With my husband, there's still that, he's 300 and something pounds, 6'2",
Mm-hmm.
a Black man who likes the cars with the loud music. And so when it comes to law enforcement, it's, a target. Mm-hmm. That's scary. So there is that, there is that fear there, which loving and being connected to a Black man in marriage, as well as my brothers who have passed and who have been incarcerated and who are, have gang affiliations attached to their names and stuff like that. There's that constant, Your phone can't ring past midnight without you jumping out your sleep and being terrified that it's that call, that something is, yeah, it's real. It's real.
You said they're targets, and I'm feeling y'all for real. Like I'm feeling y'all. And so to have this intimate relationship with somebody that you see worth and value, and know that society does not value them in that manner, because the description that both of you guys are using, those are not ways that I believe that if we had a platform equally laid out with white women, I don't believe that they're fearful that their husbands won't come home.
Not at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in my well, with Jay, he's just, everybody knows him. He is the, happy-go-lucky, always cracking jokes or what. So I don't particularly have the fears of him being caught up in something and getting into it with law enforcement or any other people or whatnot when he goes out, because almost, I want to say, I feel like literally everyone knows who he is and what he's about or whatnot. It's not really a place that we can go where he doesn't run into somebody that knows him. It's almost like a running joke in our house. I say we've got like an Ash Tracker 3000, because I'll get text messages or phone calls or anything. Hey, Jay was over here. Not that he is ever doing anything wrong or whatnot, but I'll go ahead and send him a text. Oh, you like that burrito? What's going on? So and he always wonders how I know, but it's not at all. I don't have that fear, thank you God, that that he is going to be caught up in anything, except for the fact that like I said, I do know how he is and who he is. And if he does see other young people, young Black men, or even older ones that's out there acting a fool, it is in his heart to go and try to mediate the situation. Now that is where my fear is, because he's doing the good Black man thing, or the good man period thing, by going in and trying to uplift and educate others. But everybody is not all receptive to the information or the manner in which you choose to do so. And so therefore that again puts him in more danger, trying to, to protect or, like I said, save someone else. And now other things, have happened around him that I not have been involved in. Like when they went out to feed the hungry or whatnot, and some person came shooting in that area or whatnot, where my brother and my husband and my children or whatnot were out there. So that type of situation, of course, is something that I would be concerned with. But other than that, thank God, I don't have those type of fears. Look, that shouldn't be a normal thing either. So
I definitely don't think that it should be normal, but like with me, like Joe, or everybody calls him Church, like he's known everywhere as well. And people know like what he's about. Like I always tell him we can't go somewhere without somebody stopping him, saying hi. He knows somebody wherever we go. We could be out of town, wherever. And it's like, I know, and the people that he knows, they know how amazing he is, that he's active in church, that he's a great father, what type of son he is, how he mentors young men, what he does in the community. But my fear is that law enforcement, they just see another Black man. They don't care whose husband he is, whose son he is. They don't know what he did yesterday, how he's feeding the homeless. They just see another Black man. And I felt like if they saw like these Black men for all these different layers that they have, and how precious they are to the people in their lives, like half of the things wouldn't be going on. They wouldn't end up dead, because it's almost like they don't, it's not a soul. They don't see a soul that's there. They don't see, a person. It's like almost like an animal. That's how I feel, like that they're viewed almost like an animal. So that's what my fear is. Like, he is a good person, and like not to be getting caught up in mess, but they don't see it that way. Just another Black man.
When you said that, almost like an animal, I promise you, so I'm going back in my mind, and so that we can just kind of lay that out. Let's unpack that real quick. Slavery, Black man. What was the Black man in slavery? How did they see
cattle?
Property.
Cattle.
You mean?
Yeah.
Property.
So he was property.
It was cattle, basically. No.
Cattle.
Well, just like they do the horses and chickens and everything else, you keep them maintained well enough to do the job that you need to have done. But other than that, they don't pour in at all whatsoever to anything other than, pick this cotton, do whatever, mow this lawn, whatever the task was. And then if you can't do that anymore, then away with you. So cattle.
So what else? How else were they perceived? What else?
Like animals, like she said, cattle, like animals, that they were less than, not even on the same playing field, not even human. I mean, because how they had to be looked at as property and inhumane to be bought and sold and treated the way that they were.
Go ahead, Alicia.
So like when she said property, that for sure. And you think of when somebody's tired of a house that they keep having problems with, they putting it on the market and sold. And our kings were put on these blocks, auctioned off, and it's the same. They're doing it with houses. They do it with property and now. So that's definitely, if it was no longer of any use, it was off to the next bidder. Just disgusting.
Yeah, and they treated them as, oh Lord, brain just lost what I was about to say. They started to make people believe or give out the impression that the Black men didn't want to be at the house. So they were really only good for work and breeding, but not to actually, they didn't want or care, or they thought that Black people in general did not have the mental capacity to care for our young ones or anything along those lines, because they really did believe or treat us as if we were cattle. And they don't think that a cow cares what happens to their calf. And so why would a Black man cares what happened to their children or their wives or whatnot? Because they didn't see us as people.
So you said breeders?
Yes.
Talk about that for a minute. So yeah, real talk. Let's talk about that for a minute. Because I mean, come on now, y'all. We come all the way in 2020, and we think that our history has no relevance, no bearing in our own anti-Blackness, in the way that we see one another, in the way we label each other, and the labels that we use. He's a hoe, he's a dog, Papa was a rolling stone. Wherever he laid his hat was his home. Where does that mindset and behavior come from? We're talking about the significance of a Black man. What has he gone through? What was his journey even like? And do we disconnect today's Black man from the Black man that had a wife and had children that they went underground and snuck to marry in order to have a family, and snatched out of the home in order to breed and sleep with a whole bunch of other women to birth more children because they looked at them as good stock?
I definitely, ooh, okay. So I'm just there. I've watched tons of movies about slavery, and you read, and you soak up this information. And so there's that picture painted. And these men who had wives, who had families, and what I visualize from films and different things is the mental and the physical abuse that they put on those Black men to teach them a lesson that caused them to emotionally disconnect from those families, from their children, because it was so much. Like I remember hearing about and reading about how they would even, not, number one, they would beat them, but there was also stories I've read of where they would, I'm trying to think of the word, basically rape Black men in front of their families, to set the tone, to use them as an example. And so there are so many things as far as the mental and the physical abuse that came with all this, to mentally and emotionally break that man down, to separate him from that connection to his family. And so, Tony, when you say, oh, is there still a connection from there to 2020? Hell yeah. And it's like, and no shade towards my husband, who I absolutely adore. But when I think about a man who had 4 kids by 4 women, like, let's talk about it. Something along the line, somewhere in there, other than Stephen just being a player, being a hoe, or whatever it was in his day, there's something in that said, that made him think that it was okay to just be going off dropping loads and getting women pregnant. Like, it's totally connected. It's totally connected. And it's just not okay. But I do feel like that was a way for them to disconnect emotionally from their families. And then from that, it was, that was maybe a protective thing for them, but ultimately it has hurt us.
Yeah.
I think that it was it's something, especially back then, that had to be accepted within the Black man, that this is just what it's supposed to be. And even after slavery ended, and after all of that was not something that was pushed or required for the Black man to do, it's now part of his DNA, or not DNA, but part of the culture or whatnot. So they think that that is the norm, because all of these years or whatnot, that is what they were required to do. And so since then, we've had to start trying to re-educate and stop that thought process from continuing on by generation. That I understand that is what happened, or what your great grandfather did, or your grandfather or your dad or whatnot. But this is something that we can change. We don't have to live this way. You don't have to continue on in that same pattern. And so I think that's where we are in 2020, is now we're like, oh, wait, we don't have to continue on, like this. We can go ahead and choose different for ourselves than what we had in the past.
Yeah. And I definitely think that slavery, like, people are quick to say, well, it was over 400 years ago, but it's still so relevant today, because like Tia was saying, it's part of like the culture almost now. And a lot of Black men, it was a coping mechanism. It's almost like, I don't want to become too emotionally attached to this family, because at any moment I could be ripped away. I can be sold tomorrow. So it's almost kind of like you're numbing yourself so that you don't feel that pain. And definitely in 2020, I mean, that's still the same. That's still trickled down now. Black men are too afraid to become too emotionally attached. And so there's a direct connection, so I don't care if slavery was 1,000 years ago. We're still dealing with that trauma and that pain today in 2020.
And you do know that prison is nothing but modern day slavery.
Right.
On the pedestal on that, but for real, it has all the earmarks, all of the characteristics of slavery, and you're not free. There is no 13th Amendment when it comes to prison. Once you're in prison, you can work for pennies. And there are so many organizations throughout the nation and even international that actually use the bodies of the prisoners as for slave wages. So yeah, we're still dealing with slavery. And what is interesting is that the percentage of bodies that are in prisons, the majority of the population is lined with men of color. It's not equal. So you've got a minority of men of color in our communities and a majority of men of color in the prisons. So, yeah, when you said, sis, that they disconnect, because they could be snatched away at any moment. Well, how true is that today?
Yeah.
How true is that today? So I want to bring us now, fast track us here in today. And now what I want you guys to imagine is that you are speaking now to women, the women in your generation, the women that you have had to deal with, those that you roll with now, and those that you had to separate yourself from. And we're still talking about now from the space and the mindset of anti-Black conversations. Sometimes as women, when we see ourselves, we operate from anti-Blackness and we don't even realize it. What we call it on the block is she hating and throwing shade. So how do you guys counter that? Well, first of all, what is that? what is, and this isn't now, I don't name people and all that stuff. Now we're just thinking overall, what are some things that women who are married or considering saying yes, or being in a partnership, long-term relationship, what's some of the shade? What's some of the stuff that they're gonna have to deal with, that they need to gird themselves from in order to preserve their relationships?
I think that you have to guard yourself from just outside opinions, just in general. Because, like I was telling you, Tony, I'm a very private person. When me and my husband, if we're, in disagreement about something, arguing with something, it's between us, because no one knows our relationship like we do. And I'm definitely not going to seek advice from someone who is not in a good place on their own, because like they say, misery loves company. So you have to guard your relationship. You have to guard that space, that bond between you two. And when it's between you two, you keep it between you two and you fix it with you two. I mean, a lot of people aren't spiritual. Some people, they don't believe in God, but I pray on it before anything. So I think prayer has definitely kept us close. I look to God, like I don't go, my mom can even tell you this now. Me and him have been together 12 years. She told me, I've never heard you speak bad about him before, ever. Because things that I may forgive him for, your family and friends won't, and they'll expect that, they think that that person won't change, that that's how they'll always be. So I've just learned to keep things between us. You just protect that space that you guys have. So that's one of the things that I would tell other women, who are thinking about getting married, just protect that bond that you guys have at all costs.
I would also add to that to maybe choose a couple or that you have seen be successful and seen pour into each other, to befriend and show as a confidant, so you guys can work together. I know sometimes, especially, I don't speak just for myself or whatnot, I may not see or understand exactly where my husband is coming from, but if I run that by my other married friends that are in the word and also faithful in their relationships, then they can help me understand something, because that we might be going through or whatnot, and I don't have to worry about hearing it on Facebook or hearing it out in the world or whatever. I'm like, just if you can find, I know they're hard to find, but if you can find one good couple to where you guys can bounce that thing off of each other, at least, I think that is greatly helpful. Or even marriage counseling or whatnot. And that is not just for people that are in trouble, with marriage. I think that marriage is something that you absolutely have to continue to work on. Just like anything else in your life, the more work you put into it, the better it will be. So you don't wait until you are sick to go to, get some help. You keep that help coming along, and then you won't get sick as much.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Tia, about that. And I think that is kind of the reason where I do keep stuff only between us, because I don't have many successful couples as an example of who would understand where I'm coming from. Around me, there's a lot of drama and broken relationships. So I'm definitely not going to go to those people with questions, because I feel like you don't really have anything to lose like I do. Your bond is not as sacred as mine is. Like, when we went to premarital counseling, one of the things our pastor told us is that you should surround yourself and have friends that are married as well. So we kind of looked at each other like, dang, that would mean we cutting off all of our friends, And so it's like, it's kind of like you have to find a balance. Like, what do you do? Because like I said, we don't have a lot of couples, or even just not even married, but just positive, couples that we can kind of take from. We kind of are that example to other people. People are always coming to us for advice. So it's like, when you are that couple, who do you go to? So I think that's what our problem is.
Well,
for us, I definitely did everything wrong. Trial and error. I would talk to whoever would listen about Stephen's shortcomings, my own mess. went to the wrong people. We did do the premarital counseling. We did do, some stuff right. But I learned, I can't say late, how do I put it? I learned, a little bit late of who and what to share things with. But it's okay. It was a lesson that needed to be learned, but definitely what Ty said, being careful about who you're sharing stuff with. There are, family does not forgive, like you will. Family is not going to accept. Even your own kids, like we went into the blended, family. So the kids are going to see some stuff and it's going to be there. So developing a friendship. Stephen and I, were together for 5 years before we even said I do. And even within that 5 years, there wasn't a friendship like we have now. So marrying your friend is so needed. It makes it just that much more sturdy and foundational. And keeping your friends and your family out your mix. I learned the hard way that not everybody is really cheering for y'all. Their pom-poms be they're not real. So yeah, that.
Tony, you're on mute.
I guess I wonder if I do hear that frequently, and I know that in our community, we use the term haters, and I guess what I want to take into consideration in this moment is how many people are authentically are haters, and how many are authentically operating from a place of ignorance through the lens of anti-Blackness. How many of these young women are looking at what it is that you have and thinking that they don't qualify, that they can't, or that, maybe it's because you're so beautiful that you were able to get this man. And if I looked that way, if I was shaped that way, if I was able to conduct myself that way, then I'm going to start throwing shade in that direction because I can't have what they have, but they don't necessarily know the inner work that you all have had to do. So I'm going to go there. What is some of the inner work that you needed to do within yourselves in order to lift up and protect the significance of your Black man, your relationship, your Black love? What is some of the work that you had to do to preserve this?
I know I had to work on trying to different ways to communicate, because everyone doesn't communicate in the same manner. And apparently I'm still learning how to listen. I thought I was a good listener, but throughout marriage and whatnot, you find out different things. So my version of listening doesn't match his version of listening. So I have to teach myself how to listen in the manner in which that he wants me to do. And so that was a lot of work on Tia, because Tia always feels like she know everything, she know how to do it, when to do it, and nobody moves as fast as I do, so let's go. But no, I had to work on myself, and it took a long time for me to realize that I'm the one that's tripping in that situation, not necessarily him.
Right. Did we lose Tony?
No, I'm here.
Okay, you're still there. So I think it's funny because the other day I was just kind of going over, like looking at like some old paperwork, and then like from when we did premarital counseling, it was a worksheet in there that we had to write about like some things that we felt like we needed to work on before getting married, on ourselves. So one of the things that I wrote down was that I had to work on taking the back seat and letting, my husband be the leader. And let me tell you, we've been married for 6 years.
Another word yet? Wait, hold on. Ooh, because I'm single. I was married, for a minute, because it was like the wrong one for sure. Even though he's like an amazing father, but he wasn't the husband for me. I'm just thinking now. You said what? Take the back seat. Let him what? You said
let him lead, because it shows like a trust and a confidence in him. And and it's hard because My father passed away when I was 8 years old. So I was raised by my mom. And, and I have a sister and all my aunties, they're all strong women. I'm used to watching them take care of business. They don't wait on nobody, they take care of it. So, that's what I grew up around. And so, like, when I want things done, I want them done my way. I want it done now. This is how I would do it. So even we've been together for 12 years, married for 6, I'm still working on that right now. I still have to like coach myself and say, okay, Ty, let him have this one. Give him a chance to mess it up. Like before you even, give him a chance or to do it right. So that's one of the things like I really had to work on, letting him lead. Cause it's like, I chose you to be my husband. I chose you to be the father of my kids. So I have to have some confidence in you that you're going to lead this family in the right direction. So when I'm steady trying to take the lead, that's almost saying like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you with our family. And that can make a man feel defeated, and so I'm like I said, I'm still working on that, but that's one big thing, is letting him lead, letting him be the man.
A quick question, and any of you can answer that. Based on what you're saying right now, do you think that is also rooted in our system?
Mm-hmm.
The black man not being the head of the household, the black man not taking the lead. Have we been conditioned to believe that he's not capable?
Yeah, definitely.
See, and I don't believe that. Oh, I absolutely take the lead almost on everything, but I don't believe that it comes from me feeling like he is incapable of doing it. It's just that it's almost part of my naturally to go ahead and take care of everything that I possibly can as quickly as I can. And then if something falls, then he's there to catch it. When that should not necessarily be the thing, the standard of me trying to go through and control and handle every single and just using him as a backup. But that seems to be what naturally comes through. And I think that it absolutely comes from the culture and from slavery or whatnot, because the woman had to handle the job, take care of the kids, also work in the field, and be everything to every single body, and not know or worry whether or not she would have a husband when she came home or what he would be doing, because he's also out doing what he had to do as well. So we felt like we had to take care of everything, and we did not have someone else, to lean back on. So, yeah.
Oh, that's real. That's wow. So Will, do you easily let him take the lead? Have you?
No, ma'am. Easily. No. And I say that humbly. That is hard. That is hard.
Tell me about it.
Because with you, when I think about my own background and how I was raised and just how the things that are within me, I was the teen mom that was like, oh, I'm determined to finish high school, and all kinds of stuff. Like there's something that's in you that's not going to rest until it gets done. And sometimes he's moving at a pace that's not okay. So let me get up and make this happen. Or, there's been, I feel like the disciplinarian where I don't know, culture teaches that it's the man to do this, just roles and responsibilities. They've been labeled for who to do what. And so it's a lot of just discombobulated. Earlier, Taj said something about, how does she put it? I can't even think of it. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is there's just a lot that goes through my mind, and it's not to disrespect or to overstep my boundaries, but sometimes you're just, what she said was surviving. That's what I was trying to get to. This Cherry household, for the most part, we're just trying to survive. And of course you want to get to a place of thriving in your marriage, thriving in your parenting, thriving in everything that's around you. But a lot of times, because of culture, because of your past, that's all you know. And so a lot of times decisions are made because, oh, we got to survive this month. We're trying to survive this week. We're trying to survive in this moment. And the pressure is there. So, yeah.
Well, I have a question. Well, look, first of all, let me respect some of these things because I don't know, I'm monitoring. So when you see me shifting my eyes back and forth, it's because I got folks like Katrina Gaines. If I'd have known, sis, just let me know and I'll tag you in. I'll drop the link in your text message and you can join in on the conversation. So just let me know if you want to join in and I will text you the Zoom link and pull you right on in the conversation. So I've got Katrina in the community. And she was saying healing from the past, not bringing brokenness and old habits into a new territory.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And then I've got Twyla, who said that I had to realize that my husband had a life outside of me. And so did I. But this is bigger than us, and our children have been through something, and we are the biggest example they have. Ooh, we're going to stay there, Twyla, for a minute. We're going to stay there for a minute. What is the legacy that y'all trying to leave for your children?
God first, thriving.
What is that?
You're stronger, you're better. It's one thing to survive, but it's so vital, so significant to grow and transform in your mindset and your heart, that it's like you have more in you than just the surviving part. There really is room for you to thrive. There really is room for you to be your best self, live your best life, be great. So the legacy for us is family, love, unity. I feel like my relationship started out kind of like in a fight, but it doesn't have to end that we're still fighting. It just doesn't have to end. And so I want our children to see mama and dad's dukes were not always up. We allow God to move and him to fight our battles, those unseen and seen. So the legacy is thriving.
Right. And then I think for me, like just raising two daughters, I always try to set an example for them. And I always tell Joe, like what they're seeing, the way that, he treats me, that's going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now, when they're dating, what they expect from their boyfriend or what they expect from their husband, so it's just setting a good example in our relationship, how we communicate with each other so that they know what to accept and what not to accept. And just all around, I just want them to be kind. I want them to be good people. I want them to have so much self-love that, just honestly speaking, that they're not going to accept bullshit from nobody because you know that you deserve better. And so that's what I want to leave for them, just to love yourself and to set boundaries, not even just in relationships, but don't be scared to say no without explaining yourself, because I had trouble dealing with that. I did things that I didn't want to do or I would always have a reason. It's okay to say no. And just to set your boundaries. You teach people how to treat you. Once you let something slide, the next thing you know is 2-3 years, they still doing the same thing, but now it's amplified. And now it's like, I'm going to keep doing this because you've been letting me do this. So that's what I want to teach my daughters, to set boundaries, show people how you demand to be treated, and to love yourself enough to know that it's not okay and that you are going to say no.
For me, it's that you have choices. That's everything is a choice. And also you can decide, like we say all the time, you don't have to live this way. We often do things just because it's always been done that way. And so part of the legacy that we're trying to leave for our children is always doing something just because it's been done is the stupidest reason to continue to do it that way. But that is the truth. We don't have to continue to live this way. a lot of the, racism or whatnot that we are dealing with today is because we still continue to allow it to happen because it is still manifesting in our.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're on mute. Come off mute.
Oh, y'all, sorry, I'm gonna get in trouble. I just blocked my daddy's call. I'll call you back, daddy. Okay. So that, like I said, we always have a choice. You choose how you react to things. You choose what you allow to get under your skin. Even if someone wrongs you or something along those lines, you have a choice on how you respond to it. And that's not saying that you let it go. They're saying that there are multiple ways for you to handle that particular situation. So stop, take a moment, think about how is the best way to resolve the issue before you go ahead and jump into it. Don't accept what people say. Always question, always learn something new. And then our last one, we talk to kids about, we say a lot of things are making lemonade. Just because something bad happens does not mean that you have to perceive it as the bad thing. There's always something to learn from the situation. Always pull something out of it. In most of the time, it is in the mindset that you use when you go into it. So something breaks or whatever at the house. I think our water heater broke the cup, and we were out of water for an entire week. We could have been miserable about it and complain about it and everything else, but you just got to wait for it. So we started making games on, who could boil the most water to wash it, but whatever. We made it as fun as we possibly can for the kids. Tragedy does not have to be so tragic when it comes, if you try to make lemonade out of your lemons.
My God.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I can definitely feel that, because like I always say, there's always going to be something, there's always going to be problems and situations that happen. But what I always say is, I'm not going to dwell in the problem. I immediately go into, okay, this is where we are. This is what happened. How can we fix it? So not to dwell in the problem, but how can we fix it and make sure that this doesn't happen again? How can we grow from it? What did you learn from it? So I'm always in that mode. Joe will tell you, I'm like, okay, that was yesterday's news. That was the problem. What are we going to do right now? What are we going to do to work to fix this? So, that's what I try to teach my kids as well.
So I want to ask the question. I have two questions. Lumen, I was trying to figure out the order in which to go. So I think I'm gonna go this way first. What is significant about the Black man, and what is significant about your Black man? Because this is, so we're partnering with Anti-Black Conversations is springboarding these dialogues because Stockton Black Family Day is in the beginning, the first week of September. And so this year's the Black Family Day is celebrating the Black man. I love that with my whole being. I love that with my whole being. We've seen video after video after video of the Black man being strangled and choked out, being shot, being tased, being beaten with batons, being beaten with fists, being stomped, being killed, being cuffed, being arrested, in behind bars. Just if there is ever an individual, make my heart, Jesus help me. If there is ever an individual, I'm gonna cry maybe, I don't know, I'm gonna try not to. I'm trying not to. If there is ever an individual that has been villainized and depicted as an animal, as you guys said, it has been the Black man. I very seldom see the Black man be lifted up. And then when they do celebrate the Black man, it's the mayor, no shade on the mayor. It's the city manager, it's the presidents of the NAACP and the corporate, and the bank person and this person. However, it's not church. You know what I'm saying? The homie that is on the block that is out there, taking food to the homeless and stuff. And your black men go out there, they're feeding the homeless with y'all or doing it on their own. They're standing and intervening. There are lives that your Black men have saved, that saved from prison, saved from gunshots, saved, from abuse, from victimization. Your Black men have saved lives. And that could have been one life that led to thousands of lives being saved. So your Black men are to be celebrated and significant. So I want us to shift now into that. What is significant about your Black men?
I think the significance of the Black man, I'll just start with in general, and then I'll get to my man because I can go on and on. But but the significance about the Black man in general, just like Tony, how you were saying all those things, how they've just been beat down, been villainized. You still have these Black that, in spite of all of these things that has been stacked up against them, in spite of just all these terrible things, how they have just been treated like property, that you still have these Black kings out here that are doing the damn thing. They're trying to change the narrative. They're trying to change the culture. They're trying to do better for their families. They are running their own businesses right now. They are marrying their queens. They're out here raising their children and being not only present, but active in their kids' lives. So despite of all these things, they're still overcoming and, and being innovative, being creative, and, just so many things where they should just be broken and have nothing left to give, they're still giving. And, when I talk about my man, I don't want to get too emotional on y'all, but I mean, he hasn't had those examples. He hasn't had anyone to show him what it's like to work through things. There, so many men in his life, when things get tough, they walk away from it. That man, he would do anything to make me happy. He would do anything for, his girls. And it's like his family, is number one. He has so many people pulling at him to be this, to be that, to be strong. He's carrying so many burdens for family, for friends. They always call on him for everything, but he still has this positive attitude. He still has so much to give, and it's like, he doesn't just give what's left of him. He gives us his all every day, and so I love him for it. That's all I tell him. As long as you keep trying, we're always going to be in this together. And that's what he can do. I could say when he makes a mistake, he's still trying. He's always working at it every day for 12 years. He's always shown me that he wants it. There's never been a time where I felt there was another option for him. And so, like I said, I can go on and on and on and on, but his family is everything to him. That man, he is amazing.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go.
On and on and on and on.
Yeah, I just got to wrap it up because there's so much.
When I think of turning straw into gold, I mean, that is the significance, the essence of
today. Shoot.
Seriously, that is all of what they do. They take the crap that the world gives them and they morph it, they mix it some kind of way or whatnot, naturally, sometimes it's effortlessly, and they put it out and everybody wants it after that fact. That is a Black man's magic right there. It doesn't matter what you throw at them, what you give them, they run with that thing and then they make it something that everybody wants in the long run or whatnot. So I think that is what's significant about them. They make everything look good, and it's maybe not necessarily how it's supposed to be. Well, yeah, it should, but they make every single thing look good when they, you try to do it. I think that is the significance of a Black man. So.
Man, I love that. Straw to gold. I love that. And so, what is significant about your Black man, Tia?
I was like, "Ooh, don't get me started. There's so many things." He does every single thing with a smile on his face, and that just lights up our lives. It lights up our children. And he, like she said, gives every moment of every part of his day to us, or to just to build up our family and our legacy. And so I think that that is something to be applauded, because sometimes he doesn't get the thank you, or it goes unnoticed, or at least it goes unsaid. Not necessarily that it is unnoticed, because we see you. You just may not get the praise for it. And of course, women, we do a lot also, but we get a lot of praise. Like they always talk about how Mother's Day is extravagant and Father's Day is a barbecue. But and again, that's the straw that they've turned into gold, because they can make some barbecue or whatnot, but they don't often hear the praises that they deserve, because we feel like, oh yeah, that's just something that they should do, or that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to work and come home and be with his family. But no, that is something that should be applauded, because it doesn't happen. That's not even necessarily only like Black men that have that issue. I think that is also a stereotype that we have been fed, is that the Black man is the one that's out, or not coming home, or cheating, or going, doing all this other things. No, that is just general, but it is emphasized on our culture. And for when those people that are in our culture fight against that, is something that we should honor. And I think that my man does that every moment of every day, and I cannot be more proud of him.
Because can I also then throw in there and say, how often do y'all hear the narrative about the white man cheating?
We don't.
Oh, but it's happening. It's happening.
It goes down.
Yeah.
If okay, I'm gonna try to stay off of that right there.
Talking about the white man cheating. In fact, back in slavery days, those white men that were raping our husbands and us and everything else were also married, but they don't get that same that same label, even though.
Wow. So it almost seems like it's okay. It seems like it's just the expectation that the white man can and will cheat, and it's okay. And it's amazing to me. I remember having this vision of a white woman standing while the white man went in and raped the Black man's wife. In fact, and he couldn't do anything about the fact that the white man, and if I really dig into that and how the white man is indicative of America, because that's what America is, when they see American, they see white, and how constantly the men are being snatched out of our families, that we are having to take roles of head of household to be provider, protectors, all of that. And then when they come home after being, prison and all of that, then it's like, okay, wait, now we need to help you catch up to where we are, because you've been snatched up. The deficits, all of that, it's a whole lot. I promise you I can go on a tangent about this. I don't like it. So let's just say that. I don't like it. So what is significant about the Black man? Woo.
Oh my goodness. It's so unfortunate that the Black man is so slept on, included by us. Both of the ladies have shared, or from what I've received, being more intentional about, we might not always say it, but we see them. And so it makes me say it more. I try to be intentional, whether Stephen's at work, like shooting him a text message and things like that. But to me, the Black man, his presence speaks volumes. His love activates more love. Like, you can think of like his touch heals. There are times where my back can ache and just Stephen being right there, or a gentle rub. There have been times where, the kids fall off the bike and that daddy come right there, and there's healing in his touch. There's, his presence, all of it. The Black man is vital. The Black man is needed. And it hurts me because I feel like they don't know it. And there's a part of us to take ownership that we haven't made them feel like that. You spoke earlier about how the system has been set where we're independent and I don't need them, and all this kind of stuff goes on, where we've pushed them away. And a part of that is some self-protective stuff. All of it just goes hand in hand with how things were 400 years ago. but they're so slept on. They're so unappreciated. They are so valuable, but they don't even know that within themselves. It's like constantly putting his crown back on and wanting him to walk in it. And man, they are loved. They are just valuable across the board. I think about my brothers. I think about my sons, my nephews, and it makes my throat dry because I want them to know, like before anything, that you are a king. Because I'm gonna miss it sometimes. I'm not gonna have that praise for you sometimes because I'm going through my own stuff, but I just wish they walked in it more. But it makes me say, be more intentional about honoring them in that. And then when I think about Mr. Cherry, we've just been through so much. There's been a lot of pain there. There's been a lot of heartache and mess. But I know we've made it because of God's grace being so sufficient. And so I'm grateful when I think about my husband because he is who God used to show me how real God's love is. And I'm just, I don't know. I think about him he's the oldest of seven sons. His mother birthed seven, like she birthed them in. We have 6 boys. That is 12 young men who have looked up to him, not including those men who are on the block and who are on the streets and who are in the motorcycle club that Stephen's connected to. And I watch him. There's even like a difference in his his body language because he's like sharpening them. And sometimes it like I can't do nothing. I need to shut up because it's like I'm cheering for him, but I also want to put words there for him because I see what these men are like. Oh, Steve, I see that kids don't call him. They gotten to that age where it's not dad except for our 12-year-old, but it's pops. And I even watch my boys transition from dad to pops. And I'm like, I'm excited. I'm all that, but it's like, stay in your lane, Woo. You can't, but I'm excited for my husband. Sometimes, again, it's like this thing I keep doing of adjusting his crown because sometimes it hurts my heart that my husband does not walk in his kingdom. He doesn't walk in his kingmanship. He doesn't walk in who God really is in his life. And it hurts me. So I have to I'm trying to take responsibility of being there, being that, that helpmate for him, that crown adjuster, because sometimes he don't walk in it, but he's my king. That's my friend too. And it took a long time.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I'm gonna stay right there on that nerve for just a minute. And I know part of it, Woo, knowing you because you are so selective, and so so intentional about your choice of words. And I know that that's probably come from experiences of having put words out there that came back to bite you in the past. I'm going to tap on a nerve though in a minute. I want you to just trust me in it.
Absolutely.
What is it that makes your heart skip a beat about your man, about your king?
His not giving up on not just me, but in himself. I have verbally tore that man down with talking crazy, being, even if it wasn't my words, my actions, sometimes, I've left him before. He's done the work to fight for not just his family, but his wife, for himself. And so there is so much appreciation because the opposite of what Ty said, I witnessed it be other options for my husband. But he said, I choose you, Walisha. I choose you, Woo. And that him choosing his wife, him choosing Walisha, him choosing his family is it that's the that flutter. That's that.
Yeah. And I had to pull on that. And the reason why, and like I said, it makes me tenderhearted for sure. because it is something that is unique and significant in being chosen. Um, it's something that is significant and unique when that individual that stays, especially with all of the hurdles and obstacles that they must fight through on an everyday basis just to make it back home. To make it back home. So I'm not going to have you guys even have to deal with the thirsty women that are out there.
Yeah, the thirst is real.
That yeah, don't want them. I really don't. Because one day it's going to be okay. One day we're going to all get it together.
Yeah.
But for sure, just really wanted to create this platform. Each one of, so that those of you guys that are watching, each one of their kings is going to be on the panel next week. Just sharing, just having transparent dialogue. And when I say honored, that's just an understatement. That they would even entrust me, with coming into the anti-Black conversation space, and just being honored and sharing the significance of Black men. So what's different, ladies, about Married to the Block?
I want to play with computer and
Repeat that, Tony. What did you say? What's the difference of what?
So, everybody thinks that this is the same, but it's not. And I want you guys to just tell us what is different about being married to the block, to the concrete. What's different about being married to the block?
For me, it's seeing my husband's strength and like overcoming that he didn't do it right, coming up, and seeing our boys get to an age where, like we all shared earlier, these kids watching, they don't miss anything, and watching him turn around to be an example to our children, watching him get up, like it's the littlest things, like he'll come home with a keychain, like he's been 5 years on the job he's at right now, and each year it's a little trinket, and boy, you would think that man got a trophy the way I act. Like it's the work that he's putting in. It's him getting up and that alarm going off at 4, and the respect that I have for that, because I know what it's like to go hang on the, him to be on the streets and get it another way. And so it's, I love that he wants something different for our children. I love that he wants, with the work that I do in the community, our name is attached. So what you do is a reflection of me, and vice versa. I love that he put some respect on our name.
Yeah, them cherries, them damn cherries.
Them damn cherries.
Yeah. So what about you, Tia? What's significant about being married to the block? Somebody that loves the concrete, loves the block, loves the community. You can't separate that community from JJ Barnes to save your soul. What about that? How does it feel?
it takes a lot for me sometimes to allow his heart to be as big as it is, because he'll give you the shirt off of his back, and I'll be like, dude, I just bought you that shirt for like $20. Are you kidding me? But it is something that it just takes a lot sometimes to sit back and allow him to have that time or whatever to put in the effort, because middle of the night a brother called because he needs to talk to somebody or such and such or whatever, in the middle of doing something, and he's going to stop and feed into that individual or whatnot, into his clients, into whoever he comes in contact with. And the beginning of our marriage, I was a little suspect, getting a little jealous sometimes. Oh, wait a minute, this is Tia time or whatnot. But I had to evolve in that and realize that we love the people differently. Like I said, the shirt off of his back, I might go and buy one, but you ain't getting mine. But yeah, just allowing him to
Yeah.
be who he is apologetically is something that I had to deal with when being in love with someone that loves the community the way that he does.
Oh,
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, Tia. Like, I'm kind of like more of an introvert. I'm very private. I don't mind being to myself or just a couple of people. Joe, we're complete opposites. And I mean, he has such a big personality. He knows everyone. I mean, uh, my man, he is a whole vibe, as they say. He is a whole vibe, and he just has this energy, so much charisma that just draws people to him. Like, people want to be around him. They want to hear what he has to say. He's always saying something funny, and he's so many things to so many people. And that's something that I've struggled with and that I've had to learn to deal with. But then I've realized it's what, I mean, I can't even be mad at it because it's what makes him who he is. That's one of the reasons I fell in love with him, because of how loyal he is to his family and to his friends and how he's always there. So now that that's my husband, I can't expect him to change because that's what drew me to him, you know? And so, like I said, he just has so much charisma. Like, ironically, like, we met at a club, and like, I mean, there's this club full of people, but I was drawn to him, you know, so I can't even be mad at it because, you know, like I said, that's how we met. And so, like, he will stop whatever he's doing on the drop of a dime. Like, Tia, I feel you. Like, he would get the shirt off of his back. And so I've learned that that's his makeup, that's in his DNA, and that's who he is. That's what makes him happy. And when he's fulfilled in that way, then he comes to his family to bring that happiness. It's like it rejuvenates him, you know? So I have to let him walk in that. And I feel like, you know, that's, you know, one of his purposes why he was here on this earth is to, you know, motivate other people, to be an inspiration for other people, to show people where he came from and how he was and how he's changed that around to be the man he is today. So I can't take that from him, you know? And so I've learned, you know, even though I'm an introvert, I'm private, that's my man, and I'm gonna have his back and let him do him.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys kind of feel like when you, as each one of you guys are talking, one of the things that I'm hearing is that one, there had to come an acceptance down the line that that the concrete, the block might be his pulpit, his platform, his podium. Those are his people. Um, and so you might have to, just kind of let him lead in that way. Um, and then, let him develop, along the line. Do you ever find yourself trying to cultivate, shift his temperament to fit in the framework that you think he's supposed to fit into?
Yeah, I tried. I tried, but it's like, what's the point? I feel I've learned to just let that go. And like I said, to let him do him, to live in his purpose, to walk his line, and just to support him. Whatever he needs me to do, I try to be supportive of that. And, like, I no longer even try because that man, like I said, he's so many things to so many people, and I just let him be that, as long as it doesn't take away from our family, which it doesn't. Because even when he's depleted from everything else, he
Mm.
still gives us his all. And so as long as he still does that, then I'm okay with that.
I would say in the beginning, there are a lot of things that I just tried to abracadabra could do with Stephen, and I'm just not a fan of magic. So I one of the things that I appreciate is in letting him be himself. He first did that with me, and like I mentioned before, being in the community um, and doing work, I began to see my husband watching me, and he's always there, supportive. He might not be on the stage or with a mic in his hand, but he's in the background. And what I appreciate is his presence, which brings those people around. I've had his club brothers, show up for stuff and just be like, we need more of this. And so it becomes contagious. Now the things that they're doing in their element, you know, they're putting on more stuff for the community. They're involving their children. They're doing things. And so it started with him letting me be me, and you know, being full circle. And now it's like, I don't know, now it's full circle. It's full circle with him being able to, you know, be himself in his environment, in his realm. And I'm seeing trickles of his wife being that. So once you stop fighting against it, it's like an organic thing. And I'm just, yeah.
I'm gonna just say it. JJ is stubborn as hell. I can't make him do.
Wait, hold on. Let's say it again, Tia. Say it again. I almost interrupted you. Go ahead. Say it again.
JJ is stubborn as hell. If I cannot make him do a thing, I can give him options, and I can pray that he chooses the way that I would have chosen. But ultimately, I got to sit back and just watch him do whatever he do. If I try to make him do something, he is digging his feet in or whatnot, and I can't. And then we go nowhere as a family because he doesn't put roots in the ground in that particular place. So I had to learn how to maneuver with him, and because I can't push him, and we shouldn't push anyway. But you know, so yeah.
So I have one more question, and then well, it's two more questions. One big and deep question, and the second one is going to be a question based on what you need, and then we're going to leave with some principles. Lady Trina, the Pastor Trina, the Tia, your mama, she married to the bishop, and they've been married for how long?
Forever. Before I was born. No.
No, like a long time.
A long time. Yeah.
You still in it? Can you drop in the chat how long you and the bishop have been married? I'm lifting them up as an example because they like each other.
Yeah.
No, real talk. Like
that matters.
It does. Because it's one thing to love somebody, but to like that person too, I mean, it's a whole nother thing. So yeah.
Girl, they really do. Like, she makes him blush while he preaching in the pulpit, just by the tone of her voice. 41 years. They have been married for 41 years, and they actually like each other. Like for real, not girlfriend and boyfriend. They are, and this is like, I'm not even putting hype. I'm giving you what it is that I have visibly, authentically, for sure seen. They are each other's best friends. They 42 years in September. What's September? September. Or we're gonna make it the month. They like each other. They still like each other. He still opens the car door for her. He doesn't eat unless he makes sure she done ate. He knows everything she likes. She's spoiled, rotten for real. And he makes it a point, you know. But I've also witnessed she's a strong person, a strong leader, a strong woman. And I've even watched her make sacrifices in order to ensure that whatever his vision is, that it is fully supported. And so she fully gives 100 investment of all of her gifts and talents into his vision. And he makes room for her in the pursuit of what it is. I mean, it's like, okay, this is like a really cool thing to watch. It's a really, really cool thing to watch. And so the first thing that I wanted to ask from you guys before I ask the what do you need question is, how do you all create an opportunity for your Black men to take off their armor?
I think that I try to create that space, like as making our home sort of our sanctuary. Like no matter what you went through outside of these doors, when you come home, this is your safe place. This is like our peaceful place where you can be vulnerable. I also have like a no judgment zone. Like I don't judge, you know, whatever it is, I'm your teammate. we're partners. I'm here to help you, not work against you. And so what our pastor calls it is being that person's helpmate. And so just really just letting him know that this is a partnership. I don't care how bad you think it is. We're going to fight through it. We're going to work through it. And I'm your partner. I'm never here, to work against you. I'm here just to always help, and that you can be vulnerable with me. You can be open with me. I'm big on communicating, just tell me what it is. You just tell me what it is, and I'm going to try to make it better. I think that's my thing. I don't know if it's because I'm a mom or what, or like I said, all the strong women in my life, but I'm always trying to fix it. So, but just creating that peace, like our home is like our peaceful place, just, good vibes only there. And so he feels safe in that space. He feels safe with me to communicate his emotions, because he knows that I'm going to always be coming from a place of love and be ready to help and be ready to try to help him fix it.
I think over here we do daily. I don't care if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But whenever he finally gets home, and we debrief. We normally come out here to our patio, and we just sit and talk about the day or whatnot. And throughout the years, throughout the days, throughout the conversations, he's become more and more comfortable to let his guard down in his speech or whatnot, because every time that he does, that is an opportunity for me to show him that there is no judgment. So, how they give a little bit at a time, just to see what you'll do with it. And so every time that comes up, and I may hear something that I don't agree with, or I would have acted differently about or whatnot, I had to learn to guard that, to let him, express himself freely, just as, or as raw as possible or whatnot. And then as time has gone on, us continuing to do that or whatnot, it has created a space to where he feels like he can just come home and take it all off, lay it all out. And then if he wants my help to put it back together again or whatnot, then he knows that I'm there for him. Or also it's okay to leave all them ugly snakes out here on the patio, and we just let them sit here until you're ready to deal with them. So I think that's been very helpful for us.
For us, I'm big on just building the friendship, because we missed that in the beginning. It wasn't valued. We didn't put the time into it. We don't go on the dates as much as I would like, and get away from the kids like that. But embracing where we are, and sometimes it really is day to day, because work schedules can be crazy. Respecting, like, he respects what I do. I think there's even some, like, he admires the woman I am and the things that I do. And the same for with him, being confident and strengthening my mind and my emotions to let him do, because Steven's, like I said, in the motorcycle world. So there's the parties, there's the functions, there's all this stuff that is not where I would have selected for him to be involved in, but respecting that's what he likes. And it would be times where he'd invite me and I'd be like, that's not really my thing. But if I can be out here wanting to serve at St. Mary's and inviting him, and he comes because he knows that's what I like, that's where my heart is at. I need to extend that same type of show up for my husband. We're even going somewhere, tonight to it's just support. And one of the things that I learned a couple years ago was that I did too much of this, and I was meaning well, but it was coming off as just running my mouth and bickering and fussing and cussing. And I had to learn to encourage him. And so our thing is encourage him, support her. And again, I can look out in the crowd and my husband's there. Mm-hmm. That is support. Now I'm not doing all this fussing. I say what I have to say. And sometimes even my encouragement is not saying something and just being there. So we're learning, again, to value our friendship. That's what works for us. I'm stepping my game up little by little with getting in that kitchen, because that is the way to my husband's heart. He likes his food. And so just trying to do better with having dinner made, like that's his love language, being kind of catered to, knowing that his love language, knowing that I can't always be popping off and talking. I really, Tia and Ty, like I am here taking notes from y'all, because I look at it like, okay, I know Stephen and I have been married a bit longer than you both, but that doesn't mean like that I cannot sit at y'all's feet. And I'm telling you, ladies, I'm soaking up some stuff because I've done things so wrong, or I'm getting it right now. I'm getting this stuff together.
But let me say, Woo, even though you say you've done things wrong, even the fact that you realize that, mm-hmm. and you know that you realize your wrongs and that you're doing better now, that's a big step right there. And you got to commend yourself for that. Because some people, they don't even realize their wrongs and they think that they don't stink and keep doing the same old thing. So even the fact that you do realize that, that's a big step.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And you all are able to stay connected. There isn't anything that says that you can't, so even when we, come off of the live, you guys exchange information, because one of the things that I did hear you all say in the beginning is that you need to surround yourselves. You need to have a couple of individuals that are married and like-minded. That is significantly important. Significantly important. The plight, then the journey, the path that you all have chosen to embark on is not the easy one. The easy one says, I'm going to tap out. I'm just going to get a divorce. I'm going to go find myself. I don't need you. I can do bad by myself. I don't need no to death. The plight says all of those things, and it makes me think of not Angela Davis, but Viola Davis in the movie Fences. Y'all see the movie Fences with Denzel and Viola?
Yeah.
And so got a whole lot of clapback from a lot of young women, in regard to Viola and that character and her decision to stay, her decision to help raise that baby, her decision to love her man and dig and trifle through all the baggage and all the, and everybody is not made from that stock. Tia, what were you gonna say?
I watched that movie one time. I couldn't do it again. It was so good. It was like, it's hot. I mean, it was hard. It's a hard watch, but it was a good movie, and I related to it in a whole nother, kind of a level there. But yeah, even thinking of it, and I get her, like the choosing to stay and choosing to support someone that may not at that time be worthy of your and your support. If you like we you said earlier, worth it or whatever, you got to think of it, or is that man worth to teach? Because love is not something that is natural, although it should be, but knowing how to give it and how to receive it is something that you have to learn. And so when you guys got married, it wasn't or when we get married, a lot of people think that, oh, that's it, we love each other, bam, let's put the marriage stamp on it and it's good to go. No. The marriage is the beginning of learning how to love someone fully and completely, that agape love, that unconditional. When it's that unconditional love, that means that no matter what you do, I still get to choose to love you through that thing. Even when it hurts me, I have to love you through it because I feel that you're worth it. And so, yeah, that's what I got from.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and then like Woo, like you were saying, like about just the whole love language thing. I think that's a big one, because I think the mistake that I made early on is trying to love my husband in ways that I saw fit, in ways that I felt like I would want to be loved. and we're two completely different people. So I had to start looking at it from who he is and what he would want and the ways that he needs to be loved. So I'm big, I'm big on that now, because like I said, we're different, so something that I think that would show love, he may not necessarily feel that way or think that way. That's not, his symbol of love. So just loving him in the ways that he needs to be loved and in his love language, that's helped out a lot.
And Tony, this might be a little bit different, but there's a song. It's one of those, I usually think it's Confunction, but I think LTD, Love Ballad. And so there's this part where they talk about, how does it go? They don't see, do you know what song I'm talking about? They don't, what we have is more than they can see, or something like that. And Stephen and I, like, that's one of our little jams. But what is so special to me about that part is I've been in a place where, I had relationships with people that I ultimately learned were not the best to be going to or getting advice from and all that. So instead of pointing the finger at all that bad advice and all that kind of stuff, sometimes the very people that were pinned against each other was me and Steve. And I love my boy Jefferson Pip has this thing going on called I'm Not Your Enemy, and he's gonna tap into that. So anyway, getting with my husband and saying, Stephen, I'm not against you. I'm not your enemy. That they was sometimes wooing Steve, what they don't see. And so we're in a place now of looking at the beauty that has come from the ashes, looking at ourselves and wanting and desiring more, and not just for them little funny looking kids, but for us, like, we are worth it. And so sometimes you as the couple can be that's hating.
Wow.
When you are pinned against each other.
I always have to tell myself when we have a disagreement, I'll be like, Ty, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? What's the end goal here? And so I constantly remind myself it's not always about being what's right. It's about, we're going to be together. So what can we do to have harmony? So and like you said, it's not always a battle. It's realizing that there is a problem and what can we do together, to try to heal this or to try to make it better so that we can, have that friendship so that there can be harmony in our household. So a thing I always tell myself, Ty, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
I like that.
I like that a lot. Real quick question. When you said that, you said, well, Ty, we're going to be together. I remember I heard often my bishop and my first lady at some point throughout the course of years say, divorce was never an option. They took that off the table. Ladies, is not being together even an option? Is that a thought? Is that a consideration? I'm asking it that way intentionally because let me frame why I'm asking that. I'm not asking that because I want people to know what you're thinking in regard to. I'm asking that because if you don't enter into a relationship with a determined mindset, then there leaves room for off ramps and doors and options that were created because you did not come in knowing that is not an option, that exit's not an option, that door is not an option. You didn't remove it. And so in your mindset, was there ever a part or time that you all came to where this became not an option? Yeah.
Well, for us, no, there is no divorce isn't an option for us, but this is our second, or both of him and I, second marriage or whatnot. So we both talk often about what we learned the first go around, to do's, not to do's or whatnot, and keeping that open communication or whatnot to make sure that we don't fall into the our same old routines or whatnot.
Okay.
Also tell him all the time, they're infinite multiverse of our fault, not every facet future, when I think of it, he is there. I don't matter what is going on or what happened or whatnot. I don't see a thing coming up that we can't work together as long as we both are willing to work together. One person can't do it. It does take both people to do that. But I mean, I joke about it all the time, you know, saying, oh yeah, no, I don't see, to death do us part. I mean that. I don't see us divorcing. I might see myself in prison, but I don't see us divorcing. Well, yeah. That's not how this story is going to end. So, and so once we came to that conclusion together, then it kind of changes how we attack our problems or whatnot, because we know that divorce is, we're not filling out them papers. So we got to figure out another way to have situation, any situation that comes up.
Right.
So for me, I said the same thing, like divorce not being an option, but I say that, but at the same time, there are some limits that I have that I will just not deal with at all. Like I will love him through a lot of things, but let's just say, for instance, like abuse. That's something that I don't have no time and no place for it. So of course, I don't think, that would ever happen. So that's why I say that divorce is not an option, but I do have some hard limits on some things that I'm like, I don't know if I could love you through that, but like I said, I know the type of man that I did marry, and I don't think that he would ever put our family through those things. So that's why I can say that divorce is not an option.
And I love that, because my 4 children to this very day can tell you the 3 things that were for sure, absolute certain butt whoopings. The 3 things. Other stuff we might have to explore different ways or what have you. But there are 3 things that you do in this household that when you do them, you are guaranteed to get toe up. They can say what those 3 things are a day. So having those hard limits, you know what I'm saying? And not wavering in those. No, I get and respect that all the day long. Woo?
This is a person who has gone down to downtown Stockton and bought divorce papers twice. My husband has purchased them once. Each of those packets cost $10, so they owe us $30 because we still here. We joke about that, because that, I'm like, Stephen, $30, that's a meal. Like, we could have been doing something with that. So we joke about it, but it's apparent we didn't go through with it. But there were it's so raggedy in a sense that our thinking was, there were real things going on. I think with him, it was just a threat. Like, he was just trying to be funny. I don't know, whatever. One time for me, it was real serious. So it was just immaturity, not getting to a place. It took a while for us to get to the place. And my pastor, had to share with us, divorce cannot be an option. When you go into a building and you look, there's exit signs at, that's what divorce is. And I'm not gonna take away from people who have experienced that for whatever reason, but I get that. Basically, we just choose to stay. But yes, they owe us $30 because we have purchased it 3 times. Yeah, never filled them out, but just using it as, because your society has that comes into it too. There's an easier way out.
Right. And they definitely have painted that picture and given free workshops to the lower class, the lower. So yeah, that's a whole nother thing I won't even dig into. So here's the final question, or the final thing. In real quick, one thing, if there was one thing from older women that were married, one thing that you feel you need in order to a pearl or a jewel, what would that one, like, if you could sit at an older woman's feet in order to glean wisdom in one area, one thing, what would that be?
I can't pick just one. I have been blessed, like I said, for my parents to have been married for 41, 42, all of these years or whatnot. And when I say I'm my mom's biggest fan, my dad's biggest fan, and they raised me to be comfortable enough to, if I have a question or issue, whatever it may be, whatever category, especially in marriage that it might be in, I do feel comfortable coming and talking to my folks about it. And so they drop jewels of wisdom at every moment of every day, to me. So I can't pick just one. I get a faucet to tap in because
what was one that was most significant in your recent future? All right, your present.
Well, there was a time where I was getting rather increasingly upset with Jay for like not picking his clothes up off the floor, like something simple, small like that or whatnot. But of course, me trying to be a good wife, shut my mouth about it and just, grumble in my head and continue to let that anger grow because I just washed all of these clothes, 332 pounds and loads of clothes, folded and put away. And now you take them off and throw them on the floor. I got issues with that, but I'm not talking to you about it. I'm just letting it fester. And it was my mom that was like, well, look, he's not a mind reader. You either you going to keep picking up them doggone socks and shut your mouth about it, or you go ahead and talk to him about it or whatnot, because we tend to go on about our business, having issues, little issues here and there that may be going on. And we feel like they're not big enough to address because we don't want to start that fight, but yet it still bugs us. And then it causes other issues in other places. So it was like, hey, either shut your mouth and deal with it and let it stop bothering you, or address it. So that's what I learned from her most recently.
Woo? A jewel, a treasure, a pearl. What would it be?
I don't know. It because it's so many. It's like that balance of. Or I can say, so I can't think of one that I need right now, although there's a lot, but one that was shared with me was balancing my household and community. Balancing. Okay. Because I got so heavy into it, my husband shared with me, like, you doing a little bit too much out, and you need to bring some of that energy back in the home. And then once he said it, and I had, one of the ladies I'm close to speak on it to me, I was like super intentional about balancing. I can't be everything to the world, and my household is all stankin'. So that was a very precious jewel that was dropped on me. As of right now, I want to be humble and say, learning how to just get in that kitchen and cook, but I don't want that. I don't want to. So. But the reality is, I know that that's what will bless my husband. Like, he's spoken on it, so I just don't have that desire. I don't.
Oh, girl, I love you for your. If I tell you I've been in the presence of some honest women, I love y'all, and I see why the kings that are in your lives are like there and enamored. I mean, sprung for real. Like, these brothers love them some y'all. For real. Well, she was like, okay, I know he won't be the cook, but I don't want to.
At least you're being honest.
What you say, Tom? What you say, sis?
I said, at least you being honest. Well,
come on.
Which means when you throw down, he gonna appreciate it all the more, because he gonna know it was something that you did that you really didn't want to do.
That was this week. The next day I got the sweetest text message that I had to catch a little tear, like, oh, Stephen, it was, babe, thank you for getting in the kitchen and doing your thing. And to know this man is at work with that on his mind. Wow. It's the building. So I like I said, it's mentally knowing and being more intentional about it, because it's not my thing. I don't enjoy it. I have so much respect for women who that just comes natural. I don't like nothing about it. I'll eat, but I don't get in there and whipping it up. So it brings me joy to know that my husband appreciates it and he sees me. So It's crazy that something that small is you. It's you. That is so overwhelming to me. It's huge. But here we are.
Sis, Tosh?
I can't think of just like, one jewel I would want, but something that not too long ago that a gem that someone gave to me is just being able to separate being a mom and being a wife. Because I think sometimes, especially I have young kids, I get so wrapped up in mommy mode where I'm their mom, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm helping with homework. I have to remember that I'm somebody's wife too, and so just to make that time to be his wife and to separate that from being somebody's mom, like, because he married me, I'm his wife, we still got to date each other, so that was a gem that was dropped on me just to remember that, that I'm still this man's wife, and I'm a mother as well. There's a lot of different layers to me, but just to keep that in mind.
So ladies, you guys did both. You actually, the last question was the gem, the pearl, what do you want to leave? And y'all did all of that. I want to tell you guys that I, through the roof, y'all got my cheeks hurting. I cried a little bit, all that stuff. Look, woo, I'm taking those too one day.
Yes.
Look, I've been taking notes as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Nobody's relationship is ever too perfect to where you can't learn a thing or two.
Mm-hmm. And for me, what I would want to leave as a jewel or a gem is marriage is honorable. Honor these marriages. Respect the wife, respect the husband, respect the home, respect the Black family, respect the sanctity of it, respect the journey, respect the work. I don't care how he come at you. I don't care how she comes at you. Honor marriage. Marriage is honorable. And if you sow discord in someone's marriage, expect that someone is going to sow discord into yours. Don't play into the narrative in regard to all men are dogs, all Black men are dogs. Don't treat them like social media and mass media has depicted them. Value them, celebrate them. And so I'm asking and challenging all women this week. In fact, I have to drop it inside the chat. Or if somebody can for me, drop it. My Tony at antiblackconversations.com. That's Tony at antiblackconversations.com. If somebody can, drop that in the chat for me. I am asking for women all this week to send me a video no longer than 2 minutes. So it has to be in between 1 and 2 minutes that is in honor of the Black man. We want to celebrate Black men all week for the rest of this month. We want to celebrate Black men. So we've had all the videos dogging them, tearing them down, and beating them down. How about we now flood social media with videos honoring the Black man? And so women, queens, let's use our words in order to build up the Black man. So I'm encouraging you guys to do that. Drop me a video at Tony, Toni, at antiblackconversations.com. Yeah, we're going to honor Black men and celebrate them. So next week on the 22nd, thank you, Pastor Trina. Next week on the 22nd, we are going to have Tia's King, Wolves King, Taj King, and Marcel, his wife, couldn't be on the panel today, but she will be joining us when the couples come together. This is a 3-part series. So ladies, you guys kicked it off. Next week, you are going to see the men, and we are going to honor them as the unsung heroes. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, I'm super stoked and excited. Cannot wait. So JJ Barnes, Church, and so it's Joseph Church True Hill, right? But yeah. Joe, every time you say Joe, I was like, oh, that's so cute. Church. Cherry Sr.
Yes.
And Marcel Woodruff. Yes. And all of these gentlemen, rock stars from the concrete, from the block, they be doing their thing. They will save the universe and give, yes, they shirt that y'all just bought them away for sure. And the food that you cooked them, and bring the block home to eat what's in your refrigerator. Yes, yes, all that. But we're going to hear from these kings next week. And then on September the 10th, 12th, thank you, God. On September the 12th, I believe it's the 12th of Saturday, we are going to have all four of those couples together. And they are going to talk to us about the significance of a Black family. The legacy that they are leaving for their children, and what is it taking between the two of them to make that work. So I love and appreciate you guys for tapping in. Shoot me the videos. I'll send some more instructions out there for you guys down the line. So ladies, just wave bye to Facebook.
Bye. This was fun.